I built a scrappy little propane gas kiln. This is the first time I fired it, and I wanted to make a video to show the build and what I learned along the way and my plans for the next firing. I wanted to build it inside a cart so it could be stored behind a shed and rolled out to fire. I found this old cart on Craigslist for $40 and it seemed structurally sound. This cart is rated working weight of 600 pounds. So I did some estimated of the weight of the kiln bricks and the pottery, and then made a rough design for a cross-draft kiln. I like to have a basic plan and then sort of wing it as I build things. Originally I was going to use the kiln bricks for the floor as well, but I acquired an old kiln lid big enough to cut for the floor and the lid. Although the lid was a bit small, and I think I'll remake the lid with a ring of bricks around the outside. I will also add kale wool fiber around the opening for a snug fit. Once I had the new floor, I also picked up some high-temperature mortar and used it for gap filling. The kiln bricks are all old used brick, and mostly I had to trim off a couple inches of crumbly side to make them square, so it was to fit on the fly build. I had some hard brick to use around the burner port as well. The chimney hood, I cut up an old steel BBQ lid and purchased the pipe and topper. I got some jack stands just as structural backup. Turned out I didn't need them at all. The kiln insulated really well. The walls are 5 inches thick with a 3-inch floor and lid. My burner setup was a hand-me-down Roku burner with a regulator with no dial. I ended up purchasing a dial for it, but I couldn't get the bolt off to install the dial. And after retrying the regulator on its own, it was acting very weird, and I thought the regulator was bad. So I picked up this new regulator that included a dial. Turned out I actually had a leak on the burner fitting. So I learned a lot about propane fittings and leak testing. Always test connections with soapy water for leaks. It works great. I found and fixed multiple leaks. Some just needed to be tightened. And the burner connection needed vinyl tape too. The regulator setup worked pretty well once I figured out the correct settings. I originally had trouble with it freezing up, and the side dial was jumping wildly. I learned freeze up can be caused by pulling a lot of propane at once. So I dialed everything way back on the settings. The total firing time to reach cone 10 was about 10 hours. And the side read 0.5 the whole time, barely registered. I mostly fired by looking at the flame and listening for a strong flame and just ticking up a little bit every couple hours to keep it strong. I was also able to get a reduction atmosphere by adding tiny bits of cedar into my peep. But towards the end I had closed the damper more and had nice reduction flame out the chimney. Some design issues I'll fix going forward. The kiln is quite small and the area just near the burner was getting cooled by incoming air. And also I could not get a tight seal on the burner hole after the firing, so that area cooled too quickly. My plan is to extend the burner port brick out a layer and move the burner back more, and make a burner plug to fit. I also had a tall bottle in direct path of the burner, and it has a massive crack right where it was hitting. So we'll probably put a fire brick to deflect the flame. The results were good for a first attempt. I got a handful of good birds and some pendants that I like, and the tiles look nice. Everything was fired to completion. I had a couple cracks near the burner port, so I think the new design will fix that issue. For my next firing I want to try doing cone 6. I originally wanted cone 10 to try to get wood ash effect, but to do this I think I would have to add a lot more wood. So I want to focus on making ash glazes to put directly on the pots. I found a base cone 6 ash glaze. I'm also considering doing a once firing, so I will pick up a groggy clay to test that out. Maybe do mostly bisque and a few raw tests. If you have any tips for doing once firings, please comment below. I want to do more videos about the kiln and the results, so to see more of that, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and let me know to make more.